Hey, what's up? This is Sully from Godsmack. Strap on those boots, baby, because you are now in the trenches of the war room with the one and only Mistress Carrie right here on the Mistress Carrie podcast.
What's up? This is Joe Rogan, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie.
Her hair so lovely, pretty eyes.
Hey, this is Brent from Shinedown, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie. Hey, Carrie, go put your bra on, girl.
Hey, this is Steven Tyler, and you be listening to the baddest bitch in Boston, Mistress Carrie.
What's up? This is Aaron from Stain, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie.
Hi, everybody. This is Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters, and you're listening to the one, the only Mistress Carrie.
Hey, this is David from the band Disturbed, and you're listening to the baddest bitch in Boston, Mistress Carrie.
Hi, Bruce Dickinson here from Iron Maiden. Yes, indeed, Miss Whiplash herself, Mistress Carrie, is here to unchain your brain.
Hi, this is Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You're listening to Mistress Carrie.
This is Dennis Leary. You are listening to my favorite, Mistress Carrie.
Hey, this is Corey from Stone Sour, and you have the privilege of listening to Mistress Carrie.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah.
Hey, it's Mistress Carrie, reporting for duty from MCHQ for episode 288 of the Mistress Carrie podcast. And before I get to this week's guest, Des Rocs, I want to remind you about all of the unfinished holiday shopping you have and how all of your holiday shopping problems can be solved in the online store at mistresscarrie.com. Hoodies and beanies to holiday ornaments, the new exclusive Mistress Carrie Jack Rack, plus pint glasses, coffee mugs, coasters, tank tops, baseball hats, and more. There's even baby onesies. So check out the online shop at mistresscarrie.com. My guest this week, Des Rocs, returns for his second appearance on the Mistress Carrie podcast. Des Rocs made his first appearance on the show on July 5th, 2023 on episode 161. And now he's back on the show to talk about his upcoming new album, the perfect imperfections of rock and roll, his beloved city of New York City, and the influence of everyone from Ace Frehley from Kiss to Ozzy Osbourne and more. Des Rocs' new single, This Land, is featured in the opening sequence of Borderlands 4, and you can check it out on this episode's corresponding playlist that's linked in the show notes. So allow me to reintroduce you to Des Rocs. Mr. Des Rocs, it's so good to see you. Thank you for coming back on the show.
Of course. Thanks for having me. Good to see you too.
The last time you were on the show was in July of 2023. I had to look it up, and I can't, believe it's been that long since I've talked to you because I've seen you a couple of times since then, bumping into you in Vegas and places like that. Things have been nuts for you. How are you holding up?
Oh, I'm great. I'm used to nuts. That's kind of like my default setting. So anything nuts, I'm into.
I feel like you're kind of everywhere, which is exactly how you like it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely an excessive personality, so that lends itself well to that kind of thing for sure.
I'm used to bumping into you like online, talking about music and stuff, but I was doom scrolling late one night, as we all do, and I saw you on that Subway series, what's your take? And I went, do the people around him know that's Des Rocs on the subway?
Well, that's the beautiful thing about New York. Like, you could be anybody and no one cares at all. You could see like a Leonardo DiCaprio on the subway, and New Yorkers will just be like, you know.
Yeah, you are the consummate New Yorker, and for the most part, we're allowed to get along, but when it comes to sports, we are not.
Oh, that's fine. We'll leave that on the court, you know?
We can both agree to hate the Dodgers this year. We can both agree on that.
100%. We have shared rivals.
I hear that you are in your studio right now concocting something. Are you working on a new record?
Yeah, actually, I'm just putting the finishing touches on my new album, which is like pretty much done at this point, which is kind of crazy to say. And it's been a long time in the progress. You know, we've recorded the entire thing live, and it was a wild, wild experience.
I talked to Slash, who talked about his last kind of solo album, and that the whole reason he picked the producer was because he was the first guy that was like, no, I want to record the band live. And
yeah,
I think fans might not understand the difference between recording it the quote unquote traditional way and recording as you're talking about live. So it's not a live album, but talk about the difference.
There's so many important reasons why a band should record live. Like number one, when we're playing a show, we just have like a certain chemistry that's intangible. And you always want to try and capture that on a record because when you have everybody record their part individually, it sterilizes a lot of the music for better or for worse. Sometimes that's intended creatively. But also it just like forces people to kind of up their game. Like you rehearse the parts, you come up with variations. So when you get in there, you're not wasting anybody else's time. And it's really an interesting way to do it. And it's like a format that a lot of bands just kind of leave on the table today. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't do that anymore. And there's just like a certain intangible chemistry that comes out of the speaker and into your ears.
Yeah, we're talking about like if you record the drums and then the bass and then the guitar. We've all seen footage of the lead singer in that little vocal booth recording to the music in his headphones, as opposed to you guys kind of all getting in a room and playing like you're playing a live show, but you're in a recording studio to try and make it sound as perfect as possible.
Yeah, and like what you're also doing is embracing the imperfections. You know what I mean? Like there are so many wrong notes all over this record. There are so many missed hits. There are so many guitar scrapes. There are so many noises that if you kind of went under the hood and listened to alone, you'd be like, what? That's in there? But that's actually what makes the music special. And that's what makes it different than other bands. And that's really important.
That comes up on the show a lot, is that in rock and roll, probably more so than any other genre, sometimes the mistakes make it better.
Oh, for sure. Well, it makes it human. And that's what music is all about. It's about humanity and connection and spirituality. And when you remove that from it, you remove so much of the meat of what music means to most people.
I'm a Beatles nerd because my mom got me listening to them as a kid. And when you go through kind of like the anthology, it points out a lot of the mistakes that got left in. Do you have a favorite mistake from an artist you love on a song that maybe people haven't caught, but you caught and you're like, oh, I know what they did there?
Oh, for sure. I mean, like in Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA, he's strumming his guitar while he's doing the vocal takes. And you hear this like out of tune, janky, weird guitar in the background of the vocal takes. But it just like kind of widens things and provides this chemistry, even though on paper it's totally wrong. And I think that's so much about what rock music is about. It's about just like things that don't make sense on paper, but they just make sense to you and you can't articulate why. And it's the inarticulable that I deal in. I don't know if that's a word, but that's kind of my currency, you know?
Did you go and see the Bruce Springsteen movie? I was curious because I know what a fan you are. Did you go see it?
I have not seen it yet. I've heard some mixed things. Have you seen it? What did you think?
I haven't seen it yet, no.
Okay.
But
we'll go see it together next time in Portland.
I love Jeremy Allen White because I love the bear.
Yeah, no, he's amazing. I'm sure I've heard he killed the performance for sure.
Well, when Bruce Springsteen says he did a good job, I mean, who are we to judge if Bruce says it's good?
It's definitely a pretty high endorsement to say the least.
I've asked a lot of people this question because there's so many rock biopics that are in production right now. Like there's so many movies about the artists we love. Is there an artist that you would want to portray in a movie since you didn't get the Springsteen gig?
Definitely throw me in whatever Ramones movie is coming up. You know what I mean? Let me just be like slamming on some power chords and having to perform the only accent that I know. So that would be great.
I got to spend like 15 minutes sitting on a road case backstage with Joey Ramone back in the 90s when I was building light rigs and stages before I became a radio DJ. And he was obviously older. He was wearing those air casts on his ankles because his legs were bothering him. And
oh no,
he came and sat down next to me and like, I'm sitting there having a conversation about how his ankles hurt with Joey Ramone. And I'm like trying not to freak out. And one of the things that I noticed was like, he was so tall. Most rock stars are not, but he was just this tall, kind of lanky guy. And of course it was in that era before smartphones. Whereas now I would have been like, do you mind if we take a selfie or can we take a picture? But like, I spent this quality time with him one day. And like, obviously all I have is the memory because we didn't have camera phones back then.
It's so beautiful. It's probably more significant because of it too. It's so cool.
He was just such a soft-spoken guy, but his music made such a loud impact that it's kind of hilarious that a guy like that could be so soft-spoken in real life and yet go on stage and become this other thing.
Well, I think that's, I find that a lot. I find that in myself too, this kind of dichotomy between the on-stage and off-stage personality. And yeah, I mean, like the Ramones like invented funk music. You know what I mean? Like,
And right in your
especially
backyard.
Yeah, literally, I'm in Queens right now. So yeah, and it's like, and especially like melodic punk music like that. And it's really cool to just even as a fellow New Yorker be a small part of the rock and roll history in which they inhabited.
We all have that quiet thing that we do when we're not in front of our respective microphones. Like I talk about mine all the time, being Italian, my tomato plants out in the garden. When I'm not in the studio, I'm out there with my grandfather, with my papa's hat on, weeding my tomato plants, pinching my basil. What's your thing that's completely non-music related that you escape to when you need to?
Walking.
Really?
I walk a tremendous amount. Yeah, I walk a tremendous amount all over New York, Queens, Long Island. I am just always walking, and that is my recreation. And you think about like recreation, like what does it literally mean? It means recreation. You know what I mean? It's what you do as a break to then create again. And that is my recreation. That is my recreation. I will walk. And walking gives me the most perspective on not just music, but life as a whole.
I find musicians are the most well-traveled. And so I love that people listen to this podcast because when I ask artists about places they've been or their hometown, I'm always asking for like, where did you get the best food or where should we go? So for somebody that comes to New York for like a vacation, a long weekend, give me a good hidden gem scenic walk that you love to do.
Oh, I mean, there are many hidden gem scenic walks, but one of my favorite walks in Manhattan is to go to Brooklyn, not in Manhattan, in New York, is to go to Brooklyn Heights. And you could do a walk along the promenade there, which is pretty short, but then just get lost in the Heights itself and kind of explore these beautiful 19th century homes and then end the entire walk at this unbelievable Italian restaurant that's cash only called Noodle Pudding and tell them Des sent you.
Yeah, the best Italian places are the ones that don't accept credit cards. That's just a rule.
That's how I know it's legit.
Same thing in Boston, which you and I have not done the Mistress Carrie tour of Boston together, which I owe you the next time you're going to be around.
Please, I very much need to see that.
So we got to talk about the new single. I'm assuming that it's out on the video game, but then also going to be on this new record as well.
That's right.
So tell me about getting the call for Borderlands. Are you a video game guy?
I am not much of a gamer at all. I kind of peaked with Nintendo 64 and then, I'm like wildly colorblind. So it's very tough for me to play a lot of those games.
Are you really colorblind?
Extremely colorblind. Yeah. So I wear a lot of black and a lot of whites. And, I knew about the game very well because the game has like a very uniquely important position in music history. The very first one had this opening from Cage the Elephant and featured the song Ain't No Rest for the Wicked for the first time, and the rest is history. And then the second one was this band called The Heavy. And just from there, like they have an important taste-making role in the music community. So again, it was really an honor to be kind of considered in that lineage of artists. And the game is just like really wild and crazy and super artistic and weird, just like me. So I really appreciated kind of the connective tissue between the two arts.
Have you seen those glasses? I'm assuming you have, that allow people that are colorblind to see colors. Have you seen those things?
The N-Chroma glasses, I tried them, but I'm too severely colorblind. I was very excited to have this whole thing where I put them on, I start crying, but I didn't get that.
One of the guys that I used to work with at my old radio station, somebody bought them for him because he was colorblind. And that's exactly what happened to him. He put them on live on the radio and he immediately started crying.
Wow,
because
really?
he couldn't believe it. Yeah, and this was like a big NHL hockey player goon type dude, Lyndon Byers, that played for the Bruins for years. Yeah, that he was like, I'm not going to be that guy, but and then he put them on and was like, oh my God, I can't believe you're that colorblind. That's crazy.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I can't believe it either.
Well, I have two different size feet, so we all have something.
How significant is the difference?
4 sizes.
No.
Yeah.
4 sizes? Was it always like that, or did they kind of grow apart, like got more distant?
When I was born, they were the same, but I had a tethered spinal cord when I was a kid. And so as I grew, because of the tumor on my spinal cord, they got to the point where they were so different, and they were able to untether my cord right before I stopped growing when I was like 11 and 12. But it's permanent nerve damage. So when I buy shoes, I have to buy 2 pairs, which let me tell you is a giant pain in the ass.
Wow.
So
you should find somebody who has the exact same thing, and then you could go in with each other.
Look, I have been joking about this for decades because I either need to find my opposite that has really weird taste in shoes because I wear weird shoes, or I need to find 2 badass amputees that I can buy shoes for. Either way, because you have to buy 2 pairs, and then you get this other pair that you can't do anything with. You don't want to throw them out, you know?
Of course not. You don't want to waste it.
But we are kind of all walking around with this weird, like we were talking about with rock and roll, imperfection that somehow makes us special too.
Oh, 100%. You know, I also have a lot of spinal issues myself that I've dealt with, and I've just gotten in the habit of embracing them. And in this whole new album cycle, hold on, sit tight. I got my wardrobe case right here. 1 second. I even made like a custom leather jacket that outlines my twisted spine on the
back. Way. How cool is that?
So it's kind of like showcasing it live, and it kind of embraces it. You know what I mean? And I think it's just like, again, so integral to the art to just like double down on all those things that make you, especially in an age of like AI and stuff. Like just double down, for better or for worse, on whatever it is that makes you, you know?
Well, that's why I named my company when I built my studio and started my company. Everybody told me whatever the first step is after like leaving a legacy radio station like the one I used to work on, like make sure that whatever that first step is the right one. And so I joked and named my company Bigfoot First because I took the step with my Bigfoot as opposed to my little one.
I love that. That's great. That's amazing.
It is funny that people that have these imperfections or whatever you kind of want to, it's like a scar. I used to want to hide my surgery scars, and now I kind of show them off like a badass tattoo, like it's earned.
No, of course. I mean, it's also just like a part of your history, you know, and like we're very complicated beings with long histories, and you gotta bear it all.
And you talk about AI, which is kind of growing to the point where people can't keep up. Like literally this week, Matthew McConaughey and Michael Caine licensed their voices to AI, but Morgan Freeman filed a lawsuit against AI because, I mean, that's how he makes his money. But the human eye can still spot an AI generated thing because it's too perfect. It's like we can even tell that it's not real because it's too good.
I mean, for now too. I mean, who knows a year or 2 or 3 where it's going to be. It's pretty weird time for sure. It's a weird time to be a creative person.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say because, like, first of all, if life is perfect, that's kind of a boring record. And second of all, AI can only make learned on what's been made before. And so the human element as a creator, obviously your human experience that's exclusive to you is the filter that your music comes through. So how can that be recreated by a machine?
I know it's tough. And also, like I always say, if AI can recreate what you do or can replace you, then so be it. You know, I'm like, if you're doing something that is so generic or so distilled from something else, then maybe it's actually like the one upswing is that there'll be like an extinction level event for very generic artists. You know what I mean? People who don't really have anything personal to communicate or contribute artistically. But yeah, it's definitely like a very weird place right now with AI and all those sorts of things. But I think, again, all the more reason to just double down on you and all your like most irrational impulses, because AI is very mathematical and rational. It thinks what should come next in this song, what must come next in this song. And I'm always thinking like, what do I want to come next? I don't care what should or what would.
And AI cannot take the experience of seeing a band live. And I feel like for as great as you are writing songs, and you talk about recording this upcoming album live, capturing the lightning in a bottle that is Des Rocs live is something AI is never going to be able to replicate.
Thank you. Yeah, there's no way they're going to be able to like have a robot that's filtering a whole lifetime of weird experiences and powering through a crooked spine into performing. There's no way. Hopefully not in my lifetime.
I got to talk to you about a few things that have happened recently. I think most recently, being a New Yorker especially, talk to me about Ace Frehley's impact on your life, because obviously his loss has kind of echoed through the rock and metal community with how influential Kiss is, obviously.
Yeah, well, obviously Kiss is just like a tremendously important band in the lexicon of rock and roll. And also, like Back in the New York Groove is just kind of like an anthem. You know what I mean? It's definitely something that like I've listened to a bazillion times while literally walking the streets of New York City. So it's a tremendously impactful song, and it's a really sad loss to the rock and roll community.
And we're obviously all still grieving the loss of Ozzy, which I've said it 1,000 times on the show. I find it near impossible for you to be in rock and metal and not have some thread of influence coming from Ozzy or Black Sabbath. Or do you ever get a chance to meet him?
No, I never got to meet him. That would be crazy. And yeah, I mean, it's even if you're not directly influenced, you are indirectly influenced, or you're influenced by somebody who's influenced by Black Sabbath, without a doubt.
We're getting to that point, especially as Italians, as we get into the holidays. And we were talking about it earlier about the best restaurants and stuff. Talk to me about, I think more so than a lot of other nationalities, we're living through our nose and mouth more than most people.
For sure. That's why I got such a big one. I got extra space in there.
You and me both, honey. So talk to me about what the holidays taste and smell like with you and your family.
They smell like the contrast of a warm fire against a very crisp, a very crisp and dirty New York City. A few people that actually have wood-burning fireplaces in New York that get to create the entire smell soundtrack for the city at that time. And it looks like the warm glow of lights, not LED lights, incandescent bulbs. A big difference in how that glow happens. And yeah, it's just a super special time of the year that I really cherish.
I never thought about that because I like have wood stoves myself, right? You know, like get snow in the Northeast, you get a wood stove. I burn wood all the time, and I love the smell, but I never thought that those people that are lucky enough in the city to have fireplaces, that smell would kind of permeate through the city at that time of year.
It does. It kind of like masks a little bit of the garbage and other stenches. So I much appreciate it. Keep burning that wood. Burn, baby, burn.
What about the food? Like, what do you only get to eat with the family around the holidays that you don't get the rest of the year? Like, I make lasagna for Christmas, and it's the only time of year I make it is for Christmas.
That's funny because my grandmother also, who's still here, my grandmother's 101 years old, and she still makes a Thanksgiving lasagna. And it just really has no pantheon in the traditions of Thanksgiving, but it is by far my favorite food. Any turkey and stuffing could take a hike next to that thing.
Your grandmother is 101 and still making lasagna?
Oh, yeah. She still gets on her hands and knees and washes the floor of her kitchen every single day. She's smarter and in better shape than I am.
Isn't it crazy to think in our lifetimes how much the world has changed, but in her lifetime, how much the world has changed? That's crazy.
Unimaginable. That's why she's just like a really important and special person in my life, to say the least.
Has she seen you live?
No, she's never seen me live. I think it's a little past her bedtime. I'm usually on stage at like 11:30 p.m. So
So, can you give me insight onto this record? Are you allowed to share any of the secrets, like when we're going to get it and what your tour plans are for 2026?
I could say everything's coming top of next year. Album, a whole bunch of touring and touring announcements, and just a tremendous amount of batshit insane rock and roll music that I'm really excited to share with the world.
Outside of Bruce Springsteen, like if you could get your dream tour with the artist or feature with an artist, because there's so many features happening in rock and metal right now, who are the artists that you would either like to tour with or collaborate with on a song?
Dead or alive?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, living in reality, like who could actually happen? But dead or alive, for sure. The wish list, absolutely.
Okay, so the alive category, man, I would love to open for the Foo Fighters. I just feel like we have a lot of the same values when it comes to what a live show means to people. Also alive in the collaboration category, I would love to collaborate with Barbra Streisand and do a duet. That's like a dream bucket list for me.
I was not expecting that one.
No, expect the unexpected. That's just like, I think that'd be the coolest thing ever. Just the two of us singing in each other's faces. Oh, dream. And then in the dead category, I would love to tour with Prince. I think he would there would be this almost just brutal evaluation of what I'm doing every night in almost like a whiplash kind of way. You know what I mean? And it would just force me to really up my game in a way that very few people get forced to do. And then in the dead collaboration category, I'm going to go with Elvis Presley without a doubt. I mean, that would be so cool to do like a gospel song together or something.
It is funny how people reference working with Prince the same way that we've heard people talking about what it was like to be friends with Ozzy. Mm-hmm. That a guy like Prince was so eccentric, and people talk so openly about the kind of crazy antics and behavior that kind of surrounded him, and also how cut and dry he could be with criticism. And all of those things are threaded together with how brilliant he was. That it was just undeniable that he just had something that nobody else will ever have.
Yeah, just a genius. I mean, I watch Prince videos the way that somebody would watch like a sitcom. Like I do it almost every day, and I watch, and I just sit there, and I just see like what he's doing musically, the way he changes between songs, everything, the time he takes, the places where he takes solos, the places where he goes off the rails. Like I'm really obsessed with live concert videos, especially from the 70s and 80s, and I watch them like almost like a fanatic, you know?
Well, every year around the time of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction, that viral video of like the extended solo of While My Guitar Gently Weeps comes out, and it's just ridiculous.
So good. So good. Yeah, it just goes on and on and on with all these all-stars standing on stage. That's an amazing
Just letting them do it because they're like, we know.
You can't stop them.
You can't
stop them.
Not only can't you stop them, but why would you?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, why would you? So when you're getting ready to go on tour, I just talked to Scott Anderson from Finger 11 about this because he was literally packing to go out on the road when I talked to him. As you get through the end of the year and into the new year with all of these touring announcements that you're not going to tell me right now, what's absolute must-have packing in your bag when you go out on the road? Like personal stuff that you just cannot live without when you're touring?
Earplugs. 100% earplugs. Like if you're sleeping in a van or in a tour bus, like I'm a very light sleeper, and the only way I can get through it is with these really intense silicone earplugs that literally like clog up your ears to where you hear nothing and you're just existing in a vacuum. That's really important for me for sleeping.
You haven't gotten to the point where the noise lulls you to sleep? Because I've talked to a lot of musicians where when they get home and it's quiet, they can't sleep because it's not loud.
Yeah, I like being rocked to sleep, and I like the noise of the engine. Like that's very comforting. But at the same time, like if people are up and talking or partying, whatever it is, like that, I won't be able to sleep at all. So, and sleep is the most important thing when you're on the road, to the extent you can get any of it.
Before I let you go, we're coming into the holiday season. And like I ask artists about their childhood Halloween memories, we're getting into the holidays. What's the greatest gift you remember ripping open as a kid that was under the tree from Santa?
This is very challenging for me.
A lot of people, it was their first guitar, which is kind of hilarious how many artists got their first guitar like as a Christmas gift.
No, I've never been gifted a guitar. I think like one of my favorite things was I got a Holy Grail reverb pedal, which like I never really used any pedals or effects. And that was just like so cool. I was like, wow, the sound goes on forever with this thing. And it's actually the same pedal that's on my live touring board to this day.
You still have it. How old were you when you got it?
15.
So the parents were in at that point, knowing that you were a musician and there was no stopping you.
Well, I think it was easy. They were like, what do you want? I was like, this thing is $50 and they got it. And it was very simple, small, easy to buy. And yeah, but no, I was fully gone by that point for sure.
They got their $50 worth if you're still using it all the time.
I mean, a lot of the gear I tour with is gear from literally when I was a teenager. Like even the amplifier and some of the guitars I play are from when I'm 14, 15.
Well, you famously told that story about being separated from your guitar and then finding it again later. Like,
oh, in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah. That's cool.
Cullen Moore from Sleep Theory was at the same convention and told a room full of radio DJs that literally talk into a microphone for a living a secret. And then when I called him on that secret on the podcast, he was like, how did you remember that? I'm like, because it was 10 o'clock in the morning. We were drinking coffee. Like, of course you told us all. It wasn't a secret. He goes, I thought you guys were going to be too drunk to remember.
That's funny. Well, mine was 10 in the morning also.
Yeah, I know. That's what cracks me up is that you guys tell us these stories like we're not going to remember that we're not paying attention.
That's funny. Yeah. I remember, because I don't do a lot of acoustic stuff. So I wanted to kind of figure out a way to share a little bit of myself in a way that I get to in the electric show, but that I don't often get to do when I'm just kind of doing acoustic shows.
Do you not do them because you don't like them? Or is it because it's so stripped down? Because you're constantly moving live. So is the acoustic thing just weird because you're kind of stationary and just kind of focused on just that?
I think there's a kind of exposure with it that's so different, especially just like the contrast, like you're playing electric 99.9% of the time. So then to go to that, it's very, you feel very naked when you do it. And I'll be more, not nervous, but I'll have like a little bit more like anticipatory anxiety to play to 8 people in a room than I would to 80,000, without a doubt.
Which to most people sounds ridiculous.
I know, it really does. Like we do these kind of like meet and greets on tour where I'll come out and I'll play an acoustic song for some people. And like that, I'm like more like, ooh, I got to really make sure I do this well than the show itself. Because the show itself, I know I can just kind of lose myself in it and be crazy. And again, a lot of wrong notes and stuff. But the wrong notes are a little less charming when it's just you.
I see a lot of singers when they come in to do like a live radio show are like afraid of the microphone, yet 4 hours later, they're grabbing it with gusto on stage in front of a room full of people and they don't even think twice about it.
Yeah, it's all context. And also it's like a very different art form, like let's say I'm a painter and like playing electric, that's me painting. And then playing acoustic, like that's sculpting. And I don't sculpt a lot. I can sculpt. I like to sculpt. I'm mostly a painter and I dabble in sculpting, So you're seeing me dabble in the other thing,
Well, when we get the new album at the top of the year and we get all of the details on the tour for next year, which I'm hoping is going to bring you through Boston so you and I can go for a stroll together, will you come back on the show and tell me all about it?
I will, and the tour will bring me to Boston. So
yeah,
I can confirm. Yeah.
I love it when you give me a little secret. That's fantastic.
Well, exclusive. Mistress Carrie exclusive right there.
I love that. It was so good to see you.
You too. Thank you so much. This was really fun.
Happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all the holidays, all the things, and we'll see you in 2026.
Thanks. I'll see you. Have a good one.
See you later.
Bye.
There he is, Des Rocs. His new single, This Land, is featured in the opening sequence of Borderlands 4. You can check out that song, The Juice, and all of his other music in this episode's corresponding playlist. It's linked in the show notes. I make a playlist for every full-length episode of the Mistress Carrie podcast that features all of my guest music and all the songs and artists that we referenced in the interview. You'll also find the link to episode 161 of the Mistress Carrie podcast, which was Des Rocs' first appearance on the show. Plus, you'll find Dez's links, the Mistress Carrie links, and so much more. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast. New full-length episodes come out every Wednesday. Plus, every weekday, you get the Sit Rep. The Situation Report breaks down all of your rock news, music headlines, and entertainment updates in around 5 minutes. And you never know when we're going to release a bonus episode. Join me live every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern for my weekly streaming video show, Cocktails in the War Room, and you can always find me on the radio. Get the details on all of that and more at mistresscarrie.com. And don't forget to check out the online shop. The Mistress Carrie Podcast, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network.